power x, the first shortcut method. And if consider the given differential equation as phi of d times y is equal to f of x, where f of x is what? E to the power x. In that case, simply you have to replace that d by a. That in this case, we have to replace d by a. A is what? Coefficient of this x. And if you are getting denominator 0, here you can see provided phi of a is not equal to 0. If phi of a is equal to 0, then you have to multiply by x, this x term, okay, and take the derivative of the denominator, and again replace that d by a, that is phi dash of a, and phi dash of a has to be not equal to 0. And if phi dash of a is also equal to 0, then you have to again multiply by x, you will get x square term, and double derivative of the denominator. Double derivative of the denominator means what? One more time you have to take the derivative of this term, okay, so you will get double derivative, and then you can replace that d by coefficient of x, that is a, and provided that phi double dash of a is not equal to 0. You have to keep going on unless you get the non-zero denominator, okay. So this is about formula number 1, shortcut method, and we already seen one example based on this. If there is a something differential equation like this, d square plus d plus 1 times y is equal to e to the power 3x, and we want to find particular integral, then you have to consider yp is equal to 1 upon phi of d to the power 3x, and write down this auxiliary equation. So I'm just writing here 1 upon d square plus d plus 1, and here by using the formula just replace this d by coefficient of x. What is that? It is 3, so we have to replace d by 3. So we will get 3 square plus 3 plus 1 e to the power 3x, and do the calculation, you will get this term. This will be particular integral, okay. And in case you are getting denominator 0, then in that case what? For example, consider one example. So we have d minus 1 whole square y equal to e to the power x, okay, and we know how to find complementary function. Now we are discussing about particular integral, so directly come to the particular integral, okay. 1 upon d minus 1 whole square e to the power x, okay, and you have to replace that d by, here in this case you have to replace d by 1 because coefficient of x is what? 1. But we observe that 1 upon 1 minus 1, that is 1 upon 0, we are getting at the denominator. So denominator is 0, then in that case what? Just multiply by x. So I'm just multiplying by x and take the derivative of denominator, that is 2 times d minus 1. We got this e to the power x as it is. Now again you have to put d by equal to 1, that is coefficient of this x. But one more time we are getting 0 at the denominator, so one more time multiply by x, you will get x square, and again take the derivative of the denominator, you will get 2 into 1 e to the power x, and that's the final solution, okay. So this is about shortcut method e to the power x. And what about constant term? If there is a constant term, you can simply write this constant term as e to the power and 0x, and then you can use the formula. Here I have written, for example, if you have this example, d square plus 1y e to the power 5x time plus 1. Okay, now how to solve this example? Just separate the operator, okay. 1 upon phi of d e to the power 5x, so I'm just separating 1 upon phi of d on e to the power 5x plus 1 upon phi of d on that constant term 1. And for this, no, there is no difficulty, e to the power 5, simply you have to replace d by 5. And in this case, how will you convert that one? Simply you have to write that one as a e to the power 0x, and once you write the e to the power 0x, then you can replace d by 0, okay. That's the modification, and the rest of the things just a computations. So 1 upon 26 you will get this, and 1 upon d square get replaced by 0, or d get replaced by 0, so we will get 1 upon 0 plus 0 square plus 1 times 1. That's the particular integral. And here I have listed some modification. If there is a e to the power x, then you have to replace it by, or you can say it is same as e to the power log of a times x, okay. So you can use the formula for that exponential function. And if there is a constant term a, then you can write a as a into e to the power 0x, and a you can take outside, okay. And we already seen two example based on this shortcut method, formula number 1. Now today we are going to discuss, and these 2 examples were given to you for homework, okay. So this is for homework. And I already provided the answer of these 2 questions, okay. Mute everyone, mute yourself. Now rule number 2, which is also a very important rule in case of a trigonometric function. Now if we want to solve the differential equation phi of d times y is equal to f of x, in that case the formula for trigonometric function is given by here yp is equal to 1 upon phi of d square sine ax plus b. It is equal to 1 upon phi of minus a square sine ax plus b, provided phi of minus a square is not equal to 0. That means in this case we are not going to replace a d by that a. In this case we are going to replace d square term by minus times a square term. Okay, don't get confused. Minus a whole square means it is similar to a square, but minus times a square, it is equal to minus a square. So minus is outside of the square. Okay, it is not included. So don't get confused. Here I have written minus times a square. So it is not equal to simply a square. Okay, don't get confused in this. So formula is very simple. In this case, instead of d, we are replacing d square term by minus times a square. And what is that a? Look at here, sine ax plus b. Okay, sine ax plus b, that means it is the coefficient of this x angle, x plus b, that is coefficient of x, that is a, that's the value. For example, if you have sine 4x plus 3, then in that case the value of a is what? 4. Okay, this is a. So in this case, in this formula, in case of trigonometric sine or cos, you have to replace d square term by minus times a square, and that denominator must be not equal to 0 or non-zero, must be non-zero. And if it is equal to 0, in that case, what? The same process, multiply by x, take the derivative of the denominator, and again use the formula number 1, this, just replace d square term by minus a square, and so on. And so on means what? Unless and until you are getting a non-zero term at the denominator, you have to keep going on. Okay, so this is so on. So this is the formula. In this formula, just, and same formula for cos ax plus b, no change. Instead of sine, you can just put cos ax plus b in this formula. The same formula will work for cos ax plus b as well. Now you might be thinking, sir, why we have to replace d square term by minus a square? Okay, so actually it is very simple. If you consider trigonometric function sine x plus b or cos x plus b, they are alternating function. Means what? If you take the derivative of sine x plus b, what you will get? Or instead of sine x plus b, if you take the derivative of sine x, you will get cos x. And if you take the derivative of cos x, you will get minus sine x. Okay, so somewhere you are getting minus sign. So there is a little bit relation between that trigonometric function and the minus sign. And that's why we require that minus times a square. Now d square means if you take the derivative of double derivative of sine x plus b, what you will get? You will get sine x plus b one more time, but because of that double derivative, you will get a square term. So that's why there is a relation between double derivative d square, and so d square term can be replaced by a square. We don't want to go through proof. We just listed the formula, and we want to use this formula for solving purpose. Okay, so you just have to remember, we have to, in this case, d square term you have to replace by minus a square. That's it. In case of sine x plus b or cos x plus b, and the remaining process is same as that of last example. If you are getting 0 at the denominator, then multiply by x and take the derivative of the denominator term, and then one more time just replace this square term by minus times a square. Let us see one example. Solve the following differential equation. Okay, so this is the given differential equation: d cube y by dx cube plus d2y by dx square minus dy by dx minus y is equal to cos 2x. Now we can see at the right hand side there is a trigonometric function cos 2x. Okay, so process is very simple. We need to find ycf and yp. Okay, now let us find out ycf. So consider associated homogeneous differential equation. So associated homogeneous differential equation is the same, just right hand side I am treating as a 0. So we get this associated homogeneous differential equation. So auxiliary equation is corresponding to that. We have d cube plus d square minus d minus 1 equal to 0. Okay, now this is a cubic polynomial. Now we want to find the roots, okay, of this polynomial, or you can say it is as equation number 1. So there are three options actually. You can use calculator, or you can use synthetic division, or you can use one more, what, calculator or synthetic division, factorization. But for factorization, obviously you will require at least one root, you know. So directly you cannot do the factorization as that of quadratic polynomial. Okay, so what I will do, I will use a synthetic division, and by try and error method I just found one root, d equal to 1. So if you put d equal to 1 in this equation number 1, what you will get? Just observe this: 1 cube plus 1 square and corresponding to this term we have -1 and this last term -1. So we can see 1 plus 1 plus -1 equal to 0. That means D equal to 1 is the root of that given auxiliary equation. Okay, now we got one root, D equal to 1. What about rest of the two roots? Okay, because the order is 3, that means it must have 3 roots. Let us find out rest of the two roots by using synthetic division. So I'm just writing the coefficient of this polynomial, or you can say auxiliary equation, in a row. So first 1, okay, that is the coefficient of D cube. Then coefficient of D square term, it is also 1, and coefficient of D, it is -1, and last constant term, that is -1. Okay, and just taking this 1 downward side, so we get this 1, and just multiplying with this 1. So 1 into 1 is what? 1, and writing that product in the next column. So writing here and taking the addition of these two things, the entities which are present in the column. So 1 plus 1, it is 2. Again, just multiplying with this 1, 2 into 1, it is 2. Writing in the next column, taking addition, we will get 1. Again, multiplying by this 1 and writing in the next column. So 1 minus 1, 1, 0. So we get the remainder as a 0. And then you have to start with the D square term. So 1 is the coefficient of D square, 2 is the coefficient of this D, and last is a constant term, and which is simply what? It is just the expansion of D plus 1 whole square equal to 0, and that's why we get D equal to -1 comma -1. So we obtain the roots as -1, -1, 1. Now look at this. Those roots are real and some are repeated. So it is a mixture of what? Case number 1 and case number 2 of complementary function. That's why we have written the solution C1 plus C2x e to the power that repeated wala root, that is -1. So e to the power -x, and plus C3 e to the power x corresponding to this 1. Okay, this is the complementary function. Okay, up to this it is clear. Now we want to find particular integral. That is main thing that we are learning, how to find particular integral. Okay, so yp is equal to 1 upon phi of d f of x. Okay, and now what is the auxiliary equation? Just let me remind you the auxiliary equation. This is equation number 1, d cube plus d square minus d minus 1. I'm just putting the value phi of d. Okay, so d cube plus d square minus d minus 1, and right hand side is what? Cos 2x. Right hand side of given differential equation. Look at this, cos 2x. Just writing here. So now what is the formula? The formula for trigonometric function, let me remind you, 1 upon phi of d square. Now here cos term is present, so I am writing in terms of cos x plus b. It is equal to, you have to replace d square term by minus times a square, phi of minus a square cos x plus b. That's the formula. Okay, and now look at here. What is the coefficient of x in the cos term? It is 2. So we have to replace d square term by a square. A square is what? 2 square 4 and negative sign, so -4. So we have to replace d square term by -4. So just in this auxiliary equation, I'm just finding d square term and just replacing only d square term. You don't have to care about that d, or you can say d to the power 5 like that. D square term. D square means what? You have to find the d square term first of all. So here in the d cube term, I am finding d square term as d into d square, which is equal to d cube. So I get the d square term in this. Okay, and already we have this d square term. Okay, and minus d minus 1 as it is. So I'm just writing this as d into d square plus d square minus d minus 1 cos 2x as it is. And now I am replacing d square term everywhere, d square term by -4. Okay, so I'm just putting those values. So we get, instead of this, we get this -4. Okay, d into -4, and this d square as -4 and minus d minus 1 as it is, and this cos 2x as it is. Now do the calculation. So this is simply what? -4d minus d minus 4 minus 1, and I'm just taking minus common. So we get -1 upon 5d and just taking addition. So 5d plus 5 cos 2x. Now I can take 1 by 5 common. So -1 by 5 outside, and inside we have 1 upon d plus 1 cos 2x. Now this is a very important step now. In this case, how to solve further? Okay, how to solve further? If you are getting d at the denominator, we cannot use the formula, because the formula for trigonometric function sine and cos is for what? d square term. It is not for d term. So how will you get a d square term at the denominator? Simply, I just want to get d square term at the denominator. So what I will do, just multiply the conjugate of the denominator. So I'm just multiplying d minus 1 and dividing by, already there is d plus 1, and dividing by d minus 1. Okay, just multiply and divide by conjugate of the denominator. So here we can see d plus 1 at the denominator. Its conjugate is what? D minus 1, and just multiplying and dividing. So we will get d minus 1, and at the denominator just do the calculation. So we will get d square minus 1. Okay, d square minus 1. So we can see we obtain, look at this step, we can see we obtain d square minus 1 at the denominator. That is what we wanted. And now we can take this d minus 1, we will operate later. First we will operate 1 upon d square minus 1 term in this case. Okay, so I'm just taking d minus 1 outside. Okay, and I'm operating 1 upon d square minus 1 on this cos 2x. So we have to replace d square term by what? Coefficient of x, its square, that is 4, and negative sign, so minus 4. And so just putting the d square equal to minus 4, we get this term, and this minus 1 upon 5 d minus 1 outside. Okay, inside minus 1 upon minus 4 minus 1 cos 2x, and we can see minus 1 by 5 we can take outside. So minus 1 by 5 already is there, so it will become 1 upon 25, and d minus 1 as it is, and this cos 2x as it is. Now d stands for, if there is a d in the numerator, so we know this d stands for what? Derivative, and minus 1 is just the constant. So just multiplying this cos term, cos 2x inside, so we get d times cos 2x, 1 upon 25 as it is. Okay, and this minus 1 times cos 2x, so minus cos 2x. Now d stands for derivative, so we need to take the derivative of this cos 2x, and it is very simple to take the derivative now. So just what is the derivative of cos 2x? It is simply minus 2 times sin 2x, and this cos 2x as it is. So take the minus sign common, so we get minus 1 by 25. In bracket we get 2 sin 2x, and corresponding to this we get cos 2x. That is the particular integral, and once you get the particular integral, as usual we have to write yca plus yp. So y is equal to yca plus yp, which is equal to c1 plus c2x to the power minus x plus c3 to the power x minus this particular integral, minus 1 upon 25 2 sin 2x plus cos 2x. Do you understand this example and formula? Any doubt in this?
Sir, yes. Can you just tell the synthetic division part once again?
Okay, synthetic division. All right. Just me erase it first. Okay. So look at, I'm just writing auxiliary equation here, d cube plus d square minus d minus 1. Okay. When you are using the synthetic division, you must know at least one root, and that one root you can find by using try and error method or by using calculator. Okay. So I know this one, d equal to 1 is a root of this equation, d cube plus d square minus d minus 1. So I'm just writing that root here. Okay, and you have to write the coefficients of this polynomial. Okay, from higher degree to lower degree. So what is the higher degree term? It is d cube, and its coefficient is what? 1 times d cube now. So I'm just writing this here. Okay, and now next, what is the coefficient of d square term? That is 1. I'm just writing here. Okay, next, and then what is the coefficient of d minus 1? Just writing here. Okay, and then last constant term, that is minus 1. So we got the entries in a row, 1 1 minus 1 and this minus 1. Okay, next what? Just take the first element as it is, downward side. Just I'm taking this 1 as it is. So this is 1, and take the multiplication with already found root, this 1. So what we will get? 1 into 1, it is equal to 1, and I'm writing that 1 in the next column. Look at here. Here I'm writing in the next column, and I'm just taking the addition of these two entries, 1 plus 1. It is equal to what? 2. Okay, and the same process you have to follow. Again, once you get the that value after addition, just take the multiplication with this already found root, that is 2, 1. So we get 2 into 1 equal to 2, and I'm just writing that multiplication term whatever you will get after multiplication, that entry you have to write in the next column. Okay, here I have written, and take the addition of these two entries. -1, 2, it is what? 1. Same process, 1 into 1 again, you will get 1, writing in the next column. So -1 plus 1, you will get 0. Okay, and once you get the 0 as a, this is actually a reminder. Okay, and you are getting new factor. Okay, you are getting new factor. What is that factor? So you have to start with the d square term, not d cube term. Why? Because already you found one root, that is d equal to 1. So you cannot start with d cube. Okay, it is a factor now, so you have to reduce the degree. So you have to start with the d square term. So I'm just writing this as a 1 as a coefficient of d square, higher order to lower, higher degree to lower degree. Okay, and this 2 as a coefficient of d. Okay, and this constant term as it is here. Okay, and so we get new factor. What is that factor? That factor is a d square plus 2d plus 1 equal to 0. But
Understood,
this can be.
sir. Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you. So this is about this trigonometric formula. It is very simple. In case of trigonometric sine x plus b or cos x plus b, you have to replace that d squared term by minus a times its instead of minus times a square, and then give the negative term, that is minus times a square. Okay.
सर 2x को कैसे होगा?
हाँ,
ये आपका सेकंड एग्जांपल है ना, sin 2x plus 2x.
हाँ,
तो
करेक्ट.
2x के लिए पहले हमने शॉर्टकट मेथड में मुझे पहले किया था, वैसे करना कैसे?
हाँ. Yes. Let me show you the solution of this example. Actually, I'm just writing the example. I will solve it for you because you're thinking there is an exponential term as well and trigonometric term as well. Then what to do in this case? Sine 2x plus 2 to the power x. Okay, I will solve it. I just want to find blank page. Probably at last we will get, yeah. Okay, I will start from here. Just writing that example. D square plus 4 times d y equal to sine 2x plus 2 to the power x. Okay. So we want to solve this example. So process is very simple. Consider auxiliary equation, or you can say associated homogeneous differential equation. So associated homogeneous differential equation is d square. It was d cube or d square?
The d cube.
Yes. Okay.
D cube.
D cube. Okay. So so d cube, and here we have d cube plus 4d y equal to 0. Okay, and therefore auxiliary equation that is what? D cube plus 4 times d equal to 0. Now we can take d common, so therefore d square plus 4 equal to 0, and therefore we obtain the roots, d equal to 0 and d equal to plus minus 2i, isn't it? Because square root of minus 4, and square root of minus 4 is what? Plus minus 2 times I. Okay, imaginary number. And so we have to write the solution accordingly. So therefore YCF is corresponding to real root. We have to write C1 e to the power 0x. Okay, and corresponding to complex roots, it is a mixture of two cases. Corresponding to complex root, what we have? 2i minus 2i. So e to the power 0x, e to the power alpha x. Now, so e to the power 0x in bracket C2. I'm just using C1, C2. That's why I have written C2 here. And C2 cos beta x. What is cos beta x? The value of beta is 2. So cos 2x plus C3 sin beta x, that is sin 2x, and that is the complementary. But e to the power 0 is what? Simply 1. So therefore YCF is equal to C1 C2 cos 2x plus C3 sin 2x. Okay, so that is the complementary function. You can call this as a 1. And now we want to find, Now our next we want yp. Okay, now we know the formula. Yp is equal to what? 1 upon phi of d right hand side, that is f of x. Okay, and 1 upon phi of d is what here? 1 upon d cube first plus 4 times d, and right hand side, that is sine 2x plus 2 to the power x. Okay, now just separate the operator. Therefore, I can write this as what? 1 upon d cube plus 4 times d sine 2x, operating on first term, that is sine 2x, and next operating on second term, that is 2 to the power x. So d cube plus 4 times d 2 to the power x. Okay, and for the sine 2x term, what you need, just replace d square term by what? That minus a square. So here we want to replace d square term by minus 4 in the first. So therefore we get 1 upon d as it is, because d cube term is there and d square is replaced by minus 4. So minus 4 and plus 4d as it is. Okay. Oh, what we are getting? We are getting 0 at the denominator, because this minus 4d plus 4d will gives us 0. So we cannot use the formula directly. So what we need? We need to multiply by what? X, because we are getting 0 at the denominator. So just multiplying by x. Okay. So just multiplying by x and take the derivative of the denominator term. So what is the derivative? It is 3d square plus 4, and this sine 2x as it is. Okay. Why I did this? Because we are getting 0 at the denominator. So for if you are getting 0 at the denominator, you have to multiply by x and you have to take the derivative of the denominator term. Okay. And what about this? This can be written as 1 upon d cube plus 4 times d, and d 2 to the power x can be written as a to the power log 2 times x. Okay. And here you can see you have to use a combination of two shortcut methods. One is what? One is for trigonometric function and one is for exponential function. Okay. Now here we can replace the d square term by minus 4. So we will get x upon 3 into d square term get replaced by what? Minus 4 to minus a square. So it is minus 4 plus 4 sine 2x as it is. Okay. And here we have to replace d by, not d square, because it is exponential term. So you have to replace d term by log 2. So it is 1 upon log 2 whole cube. Okay, plus 4 times log 2. And this e to the power log 2x is same as 2 to the power x. And therefore, just do the addition. Minus 12 plus 4, it is minus 8. So minus x upon 8 and sine 2x as it is. And for this we have 2 to the power x whole divided by log 2 whole cube plus 4 times log 2. That is the complementary function yp. And once you get the yp, you just have to write the ycf plus yp. So therefore y equal to ycf plus yp, which is equal to what? Ycf is what? C1 C2 cos 2x plus C3 sin 2x. Already found. This you can see here. Number 1. Okay, just writing there YCF. And next is what? YP. YP is already found here. So minus x by 8 sin 2x plus 2 to the power x divided by log 2 whole cube plus 4 times log 2. That is the complete solution. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Means if there is an exponential term 2 to the power, it is a mixture of two cases. It is a mixture of two shortcut formulas. One is a exponential and second is trigonometric function. Sometimes you may get a mixture of two shortcut formulas. So you have to use accordingly. Okay. Next, we want to learn one more formula. Okay. So about this example number 2, we got the solution. And what about if there is a hyperbolic sine or cos function? In case of hyperbolic sine and cos function, what you need in this case, you just have to replace a d square term by a square. D square term by a square, not minus a square in case of hyperbolic sine function or hyperbolic cos function. Or you can use the formulas of hyperbolic cos and sine in terms of exponential function. You know, let me write here. Sine hyperbolic x is simply e to the power x minus e to the power minus x upon 2, and cos hyperbolic is what? Cos hyperbolic x is equal to e to the power x, just addition, e to the power minus x upon 2. And then you can use the formula of exponential function, but instead of that, directly we have one more formula. If there is a sine hyperbolic, instead of writing this sine hyperbolic and cos hyperbolic in terms of exponential function, it is better to use direct this formula for hyperbolic sine and cos. What is that? The same as that of a trigonometric function, but in this case you have to replace this square term by a square only, not minus times a square. Why? Because derivative of sine hyperbolic function is cos hyperbolic and derivative of cos hyperbolic function is sine hyperbolic. There is no negative sign. Once if you take the double derivative of sine hyperbolic, you will get the same function, sine hyperbolic, no negative sign. So that's why there is no negative sign, and the rest of the process is same. If the provided phi of a square has to be not equal to 0, and if it is equal to 0, then multiply by x, take the derivative of denominator term, and again use same formula, just replace d square term by a square. So you just have to remember, in case of hyperbolic sine or hyperbolic cos function, you have to replace d square term by a square. Okay, that's the process. Now let us see one example. We have d cube y by dx cube minus 25 dy by dx is equal to sine hyperbolic 2x. Now the process is same. We have to find a complementary function. Okay, so consider associated homogeneous differential equation. So we have this associated homogeneous differential equation. Just right hand side has to be equal to 0. Okay, so auxiliary equation is what? D cube minus 25d equal to 0, corresponding to this. Okay, and I'm just I just want to find the root, so I'm taking d common. So d times d square minus 25 equal to 0, and just equating to 0 separately, we get d equal to 0 or d equal to square root of 25. That is d square is equal to 25, and that gives us d equal to plus minus 5. So we get d equal to 0, 5 and minus 5 as a roots, and just writing the complementary function. These are the real roots which are distinct, and therefore from case number 1, the solution is solution can be written as c1 e to the power 0x plus c2 e to the power 5x plus c3 e to the power minus 5x. So we get YCF as c1 plus c2 e to the power 5x plus c3 e to the power minus 5x. Now in this case, what you have to do, we got YCF, we need to find YP. So I'm just considering YP is equal to 1 upon phi of d f of x. So what is that phi of d? Auxiliary equation, which is what? D cube minus 25d. Up to this process is same. Up to this, no change in the process. Okay, sine hyperbolic 2x. And here onward, you have to look at the f of x. If it is hyperbolic sine, then use the formula for hyperbolic function, shortcut method. And if you have trigonometric, then formula for trigonometric function. And if there is exponential term, then formula for that exponential term. Okay. So accordingly, you have to use the formula. Now here we can see there is a hyperbolic function. So we need to use that formula for hyperbolic function. So what is that formula? Just replace d square term by a square. Just replace d square term by a square. Now what is that a? A is the coefficient of this x, angle 2x. That is a. And its square is what? 4. So find the d square term in the denominator. Okay, so we can see d cube can be written as d into d square, and this minus 25 d as it is. Now we can replace this d square term by 4, just writing in the next step. Okay, so 1 upon d as it is. Instead of d square, we have 4 because a square is what? 4, and minus 25d as it is. And now just do the calculation. 4 times d minus 25d will give us minus 1 upon 25d sine hyperbolic 2x. But now here you don't have to do multiply and divide by conjugate. If you do that, you will get the answer. But no need. What? Because simply you are getting 1 upon d now, so it is equal to integration. So it is better to take the integration now, one and the same. So in this case, what I will do, not 25, it has to be minus 21. Huh? So there is a mistake, calculation mistake. I'm just correcting myself. not minus 25, it is minus 1 upon 25, and instead of this 1 upon d stands for integration. So we have integration of this sine hyperbolic 2x. Okay, and minus 1 upon 21 as it is outside. Okay, and integration of sine hyperbolic 2x. What is the integration of sine hyperbolic 2x? It is cos hyperbolic 2x divided by this 2, and this minus 21 into 2 will give us 42. Okay, it is 42, and minus 1 upon 42 cos hyperbolic 2x. So we get the particular solution yp equal to minus 1 upon 42 cos hyperbolic 2x. That is the complementary, that is the particular solution. And once you obtain the particular solution, as usual, you have to write ycf plus yp. So ycf is what? C1, C2 to the power 5x, C3 to the power minus 5x, and this as minus 1 upon 42 cos hyperbolic 2x. That is the complete solution. Okay. Now, do you understand this formula for in case of hyperbolic sine and cos? It is same as that of trigonometric function, but in this case only d square term we have to replace by a square instead of minus a square. Yes, any doubt in this?
Sir.
No, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
What, yes, do you have,
सर sin x का इंटीग्रेशन तो माइनस कॉस होता है, तो इधर माइनस आना चाहिए और ये पूरा पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए ना?
नहीं, देखो मैं आपको एक चीज बता देता हूँ. There is a difference between hyperbolic sine cos and trigonometric sine cos. They are trigonometric sine cos. They are circular function, whereas these are not circular function. Okay, so integration. Let me remind you. Integration of sine x dx, it is equal to minus cos x. Okay, and integration of cos x dx, it is equal to sine x. But it is not same in case of hyperbolic. Integration of sine hyperbolic, it is cos hyperbolic, and integration of cos hyperbolic, it is sine hyperbolic. So there is a difference. Here you can see negative sign, but here no negative sign. If you take the derivative of sine hyperbolic function, you will get cos hyperbolic. If you take the derivative of cos hyperbolic function, you will get sine hyperbolic. There is no negative sign. But in case of trigonometric function, there is a negative sign. Okay, and that's why here integration of sine hyperbolic 2x is simply what? Cos hyperbolic 2x, and because of that 2x, we need to take denominator as a 2. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there is a fine difference between hyperbolic sine function and trigonometric sine cos function. Okay. Let us see this example. Solve d square minus 1 times y equal to e to the power 2x plus sine 3x plus cos hyperbolic 4x plus 2. Right hand side is looking very lengthy. E to the power 2x plus sine 3x plus cos hyperbolic 4x plus constant term. Okay, let us solve it, because all the cases will. So
combination है ना सबका.
Yes, very good. That is what I wanted to teach you. This is the combination of all cases. Okay, so consider associated homogeneous differential equation. So associated homogeneous differential equation. So this is simply what? D square minus 1 times y equal to 0. Okay, and auxiliary equation. Therefore, auxiliary equation is d square minus 1 equal to 0. That will give us d equal to plus minus 1. Okay, and therefore YCF is what? YCF is equal to C1 e to the power x plus C2 e to the power minus x. Why? Because of that negative sign, negative root. One is positive 1 and one is what? Minus 1. And this is a complementary function. Let me call this as a 1. Next, we want particular integral. Okay, and so therefore yp is equal to 1 upon phi of d, right hand side, f of x. Okay, that is equal to, what is the phi of d? Phi of d is what? Auxiliary equation, which is what? D square minus 1. So 1 upon d square minus 1, and right hand side is what? E to the power 2x plus sine 3x plus cos hyperbolic 4x and plus 2. Okay, so this is the right hand side, and just separate the operator. So therefore 1 upon d square minus 1 operating on first term, that is e to the power 2x, plus 1 upon d square minus 1 operating on second term, that is sine 3x, plus 1 upon d square minus 1 operating on third, cos hyperbolic 4x, and plus 1 upon d square minus 1 operating on last constant term 2. Okay. Now just using formula number 1, shortcut method, exponential wala, e to the power 2x. So you have to replace d square term by that, sorry, not d square, d by 2. Okay, so I'm just writing here 2 square. 2 square is what? 4. 4 minus 1, it is what? 3. So I'm just writing directly 1 upon 3. Just you have to replace d by coefficient of x, that is 2. And 2 square is 4. 4 minus 1, it is 3. E to the power 2x as it is. Okay, we got the answer of first term. Now what about second term? Now in case of second term, what you are getting? You have to replace d square term by minus times a square. What is that? A is 3, coefficient of x. Its square is 9. And you have to give negative sign, so minus 9. So d square replaced by minus 9, but already there is minus 1. So minus 9 minus 1 minus 10. So that will give me minus 1 upon 10. So I'm just erasing it is. So that will give me minus 1 upon 10, and this sine 3x as it is. Okay, sine 3x as it is. Now what about this cos hyperbolic 4x? In this case you have to replace d square term by a square, not minus times a square. So what is that? A, it is 4, its square is 16, and 16 minus 1, that will give us 15. So 1 upon 15 cos hyperbolic 4x. Okay, and what about this constant term? You can write this 2 as e to the power 0x. So I'm just taking 2 outside, and e to the power 0x, then you can replace d by 0. So 0 square minus 1, and this e to the power 0x. Okay, and just do the calculation. So here we obtain e to the power 2x by 3 minus sine 3x divided by 10 plus cos hyperbolic 4x divided by 15, and last term is, because of that minus, we get minus 2. This is equal to what? Yp. And once you get the yp, therefore y equal to
even e raised to
1 minute. C1 e raised to what? X plus C2 e to the power minus x, and this particular integral as it is, e to the power 2x divided by 3 minus sine 3x divided by 10, and plus cos hyperbolic 4x divided by 15 minus 2. Okay, now you can see the importance of the shortcut method. This example looks very lengthy, but in fact we solve it, we'll get the answer in just 5 to 6 steps. Look at here, within 5 to 6 steps we got the answer, but looking at this example, it is very lengthy. So this is the importance of shortcut method, and this is the combination of shortcut methods. First, for first term you have to use that first formula, rule number 1. Rule number 2, that is sine trigonometric function. Rule number 3, hyperbolic sine cos function. And this is the modification of that rule number 1. That is 2 can be written as e to the power 2 times e to the power 0x. So this is all over about rule number 1, 2, 3. So let me summarize. In case of exponential function, in case of e to the power x, what you need? Just replace a d by a. And if the denominator is 0, then you know the process, multiply by x, take the derivative of the denominator. It's the same process is applicable everywhere. In case of sine x plus b or cos x plus b, d square term get replaced by minus times a square. And in case of sine hyperbolic x plus b or cos hyperbolic x plus b, you have to replace a d square term by a square, not minus a square, only a square. So this is so far we have studied. Any doubt in these 3 formulas? Yes. Okay. Let us take rule number 4. Rule number 4 is about if right hand side is a polynomial or something x to the power m. Okay. So if you have f of x as x to the power m, then in that case what we have to do, to get the particular integral. So simply I will write yp as 1 upon 5d f of x. Okay, so 1 upon 5d x to the power m. Okay, and that 5d inverse. So that means I am just taking the inverse of this phi of d. That is what? Phi of d, its inverse x to the power m. But how to take the inverse of that phi of d? What is the way? So let me revise you or remind you two series expansion. You can call this as a Maclaurin series expansion, or you can call this as a geometric series. First one. And second one is also a version of geometric series, but it is alternating series 1 minus x plus x. Okay, so 1 upon 1 minus x, it is equal to 1 plus x square plus x cube and so on. This is the Maclaurin series expansion of this function 1 upon 1 minus x. So 1 upon 1 minus x, it is equal to 1 plus x square. All there is a no negative sign. Huh? If there is a negative sign at the denominator, so that is 1 upon 1 minus x, then no negative sign in the right hand side. Okay, so all are positive. 1 plus x square and so on. Just increasing the power of x to the power 0, it is 1, x to the power 1, x to the power 2, x to the power 3, x to the power 4 and so on. But in case of there is a plus sign at the denominator, second formula 1 upon 1 plus x, in that case there is alternate sign plus minus in the expansion. Okay, so 1 upon 1 plus x, it is equal to 1 negative sign x plus x square minus x cube and so on, alternate plus minus sign. And the same thing you have to do, just increase the power. But in this case there is an alternate sign. Okay, this is alternating series. Now you might be wondering, sir, why do we these two series? Engineering mathematics 1. Okay, Maclaurin and Taylor series expansion. Okay, so we want to use this two series expansion. Instead of x, I'm just putting, or I'm just replacing x by replacing x by capital D. Okay, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just got notification poor connectivity, that's why I asked you. Anyway, 1 upon 1 minus d, it is equal to just replacing x. What is that x term? Okay, dear. Just replacing x term by d. Instead of x, you have to put d. So we got this 1 upon 1 minus d, it is written as 1 plus d square plus d cube and so on. And in the same second formula, just replace x by capital D. So we get this formula 1 minus d plus d square minus d cube and so on. Okay, so this is about Maclaurin series expansion, and these two formulas we require to use to get the solution of x square term. Because why do we need this? Simply students, we know that the derivative of polynomial after taking successive derivative, it will give us 0. Okay, so for example, if you have x square, now you tell me what is the derivative of this x square term. First, if you take the derivative, you will get 2x. And if you take one more time, so you will get d2 x square of this dx square, it is equal to what? 2. And if you take one more time derivative, then that is third order derivative, you will get d cube by dx square, dx cube of x square, it is equal to 0. So somewhere it is going to terminate, the process somewhere going to terminate, and that's why we are taking 1 plus d square plus d cube. So somewhere it will give us 0 number and the process terminates there. And that's why we are writing the inverse in terms of this differential operator 1 plus d square d cube, like that. Okay, so let us see one example so everything will get clear. For example, if you have this differential equation, solve d square plus 1 times y equal to x square. So consider associated homogeneous, that usual routine process. Consider associated homogeneous differential equation, that is d square plus 1 is y equal to 0. So auxiliary equation is what? D square plus 1 equal to 0. And that is why we get two complex roots I and minus I, because what? D square is equal to minus 1 and therefore d has to be plus minus I, imaginary numbers. Many students makes mistake here, they get confused. They are just taking square root of minus 1 equal to 1. No, that is wrong. It is an imaginary number. Square root of inside square root, if you get the negative, then it belongs to complex number. Okay, so therefore we got two complex roots, d equal to plus minus I, and you know how to write the solution. That is case number 3. According to that case number 3, the solution is what? YCF is equal to e to the power alpha x a cos beta x plus b sine beta x. Okay, and I'm just finding the values of alpha and beta. Alpha in this case 0 and beta is what? Coefficient of I, that is 1. And we got this solution. E to the power 0 x is 1, a cos x plus b sin x. What is the value of beta? Beta is equal to 1. That's why we got this as a complementary function. Okay, next we want to find particular integral, but in this case again we have to consider yp is equal to 1 upon 5 of dx square. Up to this process is same. After that what? Look at this. This is a x square polynomial, x to the power m something. Okay, that m is a positive integer. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and so on like that. And in that case, what you need? You need to take inverse of the auxiliary equation. So auxiliary equation is what? D square plus 1. So 1 upon d square plus 1 x square. Okay, as it is. And I just wanted to write the series expansion. So I need to convert that auxiliary equation somehow in terms of 1 upon 1 minus something or 1 upon 1 plus something, because we have only two formulas, 1 upon 1 minus x and 1 upon 1 plus x. So here I can write the denominator as 1 upon 1 plus d square. So we can use that formula, second formula. What is that? That formula is, let me write here, that formula is 1 upon 1 plus x. It is equal to 1 minus x plus x square minus x cube and so on. That is plus minus alternate sign. And just I am putting, instead of x, I am just putting d square term. You might be wondering, sir, you told you have to replace x by d, but here we get d square term, not d. If you are getting d term, well, something or 1 upon 1 plus something. That something can be anything. It can be anything means what? It can be a combination of d square plus d term, or it may be a d square plus d plus 1 upon 4, something like that. Whatever that something, you have to treat that as x term, whole x term. Okay, so in this case we obtain d square. So I'm just putting x equal to d square in this formula, and so we get 1 upon 1 plus d square equal to 1 as it is. Okay, corresponding to this x we have d square term, so minus d square, and corresponding to the x square term, but already there is a d square and it is square, so it is d to the power 4, and corresponding to the d to the power 6 and so on. So that's why we got here 1 minus d square plus d to the power 4 minus d to the power 6 and so on, and this x square term as it is. X square term as it is. Now just multiply this x square term inside. Just multiply this x square term inside bracket. Okay, so first is what? First term is what? 1 into x square. So just writing x square as it is. Okay, now minus times d square. Now what is the d square? If d stands for derivative, d stands for derivative, then what is the d square? D square stands for what? Double derivative, successive derivative, you can say double derivative. So that means we have to take 2 times derivative of this x square term. So first derivative is what? 2x, and the second derivative is what? 2. That's why minus 2 here. And if you take the third derivative, you will get 0. Fourth derivative, you will get 0. Sixth derivative, you will get 0. So process terminates here after taking third derivative, that is fourth derivative. It is equal to 0, and process terminates here. And that's why we obtain the particular solution x square minus 2. And that's why this is yp is equal to x square minus 2. And at last, as usual, ycf plus yp, which is equal to a cos x plus b sin x plus x square minus 2. Now, do you understand this example? Any doubt in this? Yes.
No, sir.
Yeah.
1 plus d रहा तो 1 plus
1.
अगर आपने बोला ना d स्क्वायर है तो फिर ये करेंगे, अगर d रहा तो
हाँ, अगर d रहा तो फिर d के जस्ट यू हैव टू यूज दिस 2 सीरीज एक्सपेंशन ना, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं। मतलब आपको अगर वहां पे d है तो x इज इक्वल टू d you have to put if there is a something like this. Just 1 minute. For example, if you have 1 upon 1 plus d minus 3 like that, if you have something like that, d minus 3 upon 2, something like that. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to replace, you have to put x is equal to this whole term, d minus 3 upon 2. Understand? If you have, for example, if you have something like that, 1 upon 1 plus d, then simply you can put x is equal to d in that formula. If you have 1 upon 1 minus d square, then you can take a negative sign common, so it will be minus 1 upon d square. Oh, no need to take minus 1 common, actually this is already in standard form. So in this case, what you did, you just replace x square term by x term by d square. Okay, just put the value, and only two formulas, 1 upon 1 minus x and 1 upon 1 plus x. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So accordingly, you have to identify x. Okay, 1 upon 1 plus something or 1 upon 1 minus something. That something can be anything. It can be a combination. It can be simply d, or it can be a d square term. Okay. Okay. Note down this one example for homework. Now look at the right hand side. Right hand side is what? X square plus 7x plus 9, which is a polynomial. So you have to consider auxiliary equation while finding yp. What you need? I'm just writing yp. Yp is equal to corresponding to this. We have auxiliary equation d square plus 5d plus 4, and this right hand side x square plus 7x plus 9. Okay, and I just wanted to find a solution of this. So in this case, what I will do, I will write this as, I'm just taking 4 common. So after taking 4 common, instead of 4, I will write 1 and this whole term in bracket d square plus 5d divided by 4. Okay, and right hand side as it is. And this 1 upon 4 outside in bracket 1 upon 1 plus d square plus 5d divided by whole divided by 4, and x square plus 7x plus 9. Okay, and now you can treat this whole term. You can treat this whole term as a x. This as a x, and use the x function 1 upon 1 plus x. That is 1 minus x plus x square minus x cube, and so on. And just treat x is equal to this whole term, which is encircled here. Okay, understand? So this is for your homework.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want the solution of this example in the next lecture. I will ask randomly to anyone. Okay, I'm just stopping the sharing. Okay.